Good morning, traders. Welcome to the 26th of July, Tuesday. Today, we'll have a look again at the Tuesday outlook and setups. This is also for the community. So let's dive into it, boys and girls. So first of all, you'll notice something different. I'm going to do a little bit of a split chart looking at the daily and then the 50-minute just to kind of speed things up a bit and talk between the two charts interchangeably. So if you feature eyes to the right, I think it's on the right for you as well. If you look at this daily chart, you can see the price is trying to push towards the upside. We're making sweeps of liquidity towards the downside. Let me just get that tool so we can see the price is sweeping previous lows and pushing higher. And then we had kind of this trend line, not trend line, but price making higher high, higher high, and then ultimately pushing up. And we're breaking the previous highs, and trading higher. So one thing that you'll notice is that the price isn't really closing with a force towards the upside. There's no body closes above the previous week. So you can see every time it closes, the body close is below the previous day's wick. So what does this tell us? What can we take from that? Well, basically, I think personally, it is suggestive of more sideways moving market or consolidation. The price is still not sure which way it wants to be going. We can look and see the price did already trade above the previous daily high. Right over there, you can see it traded above the previous daily high. And if we just take that to this side, there was our previous daily high, and we traded above it in the Asian session, actually traded above it, and we can see this impulsive move towards the downside. So now we have to look at where can price possibly be trading to. Well, potentially we have some trend line liquidity over here in the form of people taking longs, and their stop losses will be below these lows. So potentially we could see price run down, fill some of this empty space, this imbalance, and then potentially tap into this 50-minute area right over here that I have this line mark. So for the downside target, potentially could be something, price label, something like this, almost like the 20 2020 level, somewhere around that round number. So potentially see price run down towards the side. And the only reason I'm saying that is because we already saw price trade above the previous daily high. There's a bunch of liquidity. So we know that there's money and there's liquidity above the previous daily highs. So we've swept the previous daily high. So my first inclination is, okay, where could price be trading to next? We've swept some external range liquidity. Where could we be trading to next? Potentially inside this range. So what is our range on the 50-minute? Potentially and ideally, I would think that this could be the range towards the upside, or this was the main range, or even from this low. But just for completeness sake and for now, to make it simple, we'll use that low to this high, and we did break structure, and we did break it impulsively with a body close on the 50 minutes, even though not on the higher time frames. But we can more or less see this is our range. We traded above it. So ideally, I would be looking to see if price can come down and trade back down into the discount of this leg. So if we just draw this over, I would look to see price come down into the discount, this little bluish box. So that's the one thing. If we then look at the 50-minute, which we'll do now, potentially because sometimes we miss a few things on the higher time frames. So just let's have a look at what did the Asian session do. So we'll just have a mark out a few things, and we'll just call this our range high, and we'll have our range low just below it, range low. Basically, that's the Asian section, but it made a range. So I just call it range high and range low. We can see price impulsively move towards the upside, and the pip range is relatively big, almost 40 pips, which makes it borderline to not ideal to trade. Potentially, we have a nice area to take a short from up here. Potentially, with this move towards the upside, giving us that signal, the price is potentially giving us a tradable area. So we'll have to wait and see how price develops, and if we do see price come back up into this area. So my play would potentially be if we can see price run above these highs at an opening, tap into this area, and ideally I would want to see a little 1 minute break instruction and then find the entry. So the 1 minute would, I would want to see something like this, see a little break, and then maybe come back towards an area and then take a shorting position. Just to get that extra confirmation the price is in fact going towards the downside. Just an added note: if you're trading a funded account or if you're trading doing a challenge or whatever, you want to take trades that all the odds are stacked in your favor. You want to really be, I feel like you're taking this trade with an army behind you. Kind of, you have the backing of the central banks type of thing. So you really want to take those trades that has really all the odds for you and not against you. You want to trade with that odds and with that flow. And I think the best way to do that is to ultimately find areas where price is really showing you, okay, this is what we're doing, this is what's gonna happen, here's what we're gonna do, we're gonna go in, drop down, hit take profit type of thing. So that's kind of the idea that we want to see when we take trades, high probability trades. And also we want to note that where is the least resistance. Now, potentially there's not a lot of resistance in here because there's no support really holding. What do I mean by that? Because let's say this is support. We pushed up, we didn't come back to it, we created some new support. And then we pushed up. How many touches has there been on this quote unquote support? Now, we're using some retail terms. There's only just one tap. Yes, price did linger a bit in this area, but this was just only to accumulate orders for price to ultimately go higher, which it did ultimately towards the upside. Also, just a beautiful reaction. Let's just copy this one. Beautiful reaction from this area, which it was something that we spoke about in the community, and we took some longs in here, a few of the members. Ultimately, it was very choppy late in the day, but ultimately price did reach a higher time frame target up there. But nonetheless, so the thing is that we could look for is potential shorts, but what do we do? How do we know we can take longs? For that, I'm going to just look at this last leg of price action. Let's just clean up and let's just make this big again. Sorry, I forgot. So potentially, I think we could be looking at this leg. This leg. Oh, come on. This leg for the third time towards the upside for a potential retracement. You can see from this leg towards the upside, we are in a discount already. We have potentially this area where we could be looking to see if price gives us a shorting opportunity. But again, we want to be trading with the direction. If we say order flow, it basically just means the structure, the direction that the market is going. It's a higher time frame intent. So we want to be trading with the higher time frame intent, with the order flow, because technically order flow, there's a lot more going on with regards to order flow in terms of numbers and orders being pushed and delivered and stuff that goes above my head. But just know when we say order flow, it's just a easy term to use for bias or direction. Bullish order flow, you have a bullish bias, prices making higher highs, higher lows. Bearish order flow, prices going down, prices making lower lows and lower highs. So basically, don't get confused and don't get flustered with all these fancy names and stuff. It's just gimmicks. So let's see what happens in this area. Do we get a reaction and do we get some price break towards the upside? Because ultimately, I do think we are bullish. We can look even at the 5 minute, the trend is bullish. We are going up. Just look, price is going higher. Yes, we can potentially see some retracement trades, deeper retracements. That's why we have this area marked over here to come and see price full this imbalance, tap into this area, and then potentially give us a long trade. So that's the other scenario. So definitely there's a few things that can happen, and I can't tell you exactly what's going to happen. I can just tell you what I'm now looking at it. Obviously, when I end this video and price action has developed some more, my view can change and I look at something else because price has shown its hand more. But what I like about this is the accumulation, consolidation, the orders really just staying around in this area, dropping below it, sweeping all the liquidity below this area. If we now do see some conviction, some price really giving us some strong momentum towards the upside, potentially if we can break some of these areas. and then give us the indication to go higher. We could maybe take a long if the odds are in our favor. But then also looking at the downside, price could just be plummeting lower. In, as I said earlier, potentially this was an area that I would wanted to see price look for short. So still, when price comes to this area, if I'm in a long, I'll be taking off. I'll be securing the trade in this area. But ultimately, it's just a matter of, do we find an entry? Price is dropping now. I'm not sure where it will drop or where it will stop, because it's quite a far way to drop all the way towards the downside. It's about 53 pips. So that's almost a day's move, half a day's move, which isn't ideal for anyone. So let's pay attention to a price thing. So currently nothing concrete to take a trade off of. We have some big news tomorrow as well, maybe today as well. I'm not exactly sure, but I know tomorrow we have some more news. So we need to be patient and wait for good opportunities, good trade setups to form before we do anything. So ultimately, this could be an area, could be seeing some shorts primarily because we did trade above the high. We haven't swept the Asian high yet, so that's usually something that I'm looking for before taking a short. Haven't seen that. Price is just pushing up, pushing down, so it's not giving us a lot of information to trade off of. But yeah, let's see what we have, how price develops. And I've noticed something that you can take note of between 9 and 11. We've probably seen some good setups forming lately. So sometimes, like yesterday's long was right at 8:30, and price started pumping at 9. We had a little short retracement. There was a trade, and then this was a trade as well. Could have probably taken a short there maybe as well. It wasn't the cleanest confirmation, but ultimately we need to get that confirmation, get that clarification that we are trading in the high time frame direction. What's happening now is interesting, is we're sweeping below the Asian lows. Well, not yet sweeping, we're trading below the Asian lows. So potentially this could mean, and it's quite impulsively, so some momentum there. So you don't want to go against this unless you're certain that it's just going to be like a V-shaped recovery and shoot back towards the upside. So rather wait for it to go back up and then wait for an area of confirmation entry. Don't just try and buy here. Trust me, I've tried that. I've blown more accounts. I've blown out more often than not in the past, trying to be a hero and take that drops and saying, okay, this is a zone. Let's just buy here because price is going to go up. And then ultimately, maybe it will go up, but then price just goes down. And then I'm like, okay, this is a zone. I'm going to have to buy here. So this is where I have to buy. Rookie mistakes. So don't do that. We learn from them, we grow, and we move on. So let's see what price will be doing right now on the 1 minute. I like this accumulation. I like this push down, this manipulation. So let's see if we can get some structure shift towards the upside and potentially see some longs, because ultimately the trend is bullish. We have taken out some liquidity now, but I am mindful of this area as well. So if price wants to make a deeper push down, I have that room. I have that option over there. I can see price go lower as well. So let's just turn off that. So yeah, guys, hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope this has been insightful and has helped you a little bit. See you in the next one. Cheers.